Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well today. So today's video is going to be all about fabric. I've really been wanting to create a video that would be a helpful resource for you guys when it comes to shopping for fabric, and also just some basic terminology that you need to know when it comes to fabric in general. So that's what today's video is going to be about. I'm going to start with an overview of some different types of fabric and what to know about them. And then I'll also talk a little bit about how I shop for fabric online. And then at the end of this video, I will have a little mini haul because I just got a fabric order in the mail. So if you want to see my most recent fabric order, stay tuned to the end of the video for that. I will be sure to include timestamps for this video. So if you just want to watch a specific section, hopefully that helps out. But I'm going to go ahead and jump in and let's talk about fabric. So let's start out with some basic fabric terminology that you'll want to know when it comes to shopping for fabric. So first of all, you can divide fabric into two basic categories. There are wovens and then there are knits. So woven fabric will not usually have much stretch to it, and you can think of it as a grid of fibers being woven together. If you had one of those pot holder kits back in like 1996, it's the same principle here. So I'll try and put a picture in so you can see what weaving looks like, but woven fabric is the first category. And then knit fabric is the second category. So you can think of a chunky knitted sweater here, something like that, but it can be on a very small scale. And knit fabric is stretchy. So it's made up of interlocking loops, and those interlocking loops make it very stretchy. So you can have really micro scale knits like t-shirt knits. So your t-shirt is made out of knit fabric. It's got that stretchy quality to it. But you can also have really chunky knits like a sweater made out of really thick yarn. So within these two categories, fabric can be made of a lot of different fibers, and we have three different basic bases for the fibers. Those are animal-based, plant-based, and synthetic. So some of the most common plant-based fibers are linen, which is made from flax, cotton, which is made from the cotton plant, there's lyocell, which is made from eucalyptus, and also rayon, which is made of wood. And then with animal-based fibers, there are two that are the most common, silk and wool. Silk is made from the cocoon of the silkworm, which I find really interesting. And then also wool, we think of most commonly lamb's wool, but wool can also apply to things like mohair or cashmere. Cashmere comes from a goat, but it could still be classified as wool. Wool is more of a broad category here. And then some of the most common synthetic fibers are things like polyester, spandex, and nylon. You can think of these almost in the same category as plastic or polymer. Most of them are made out of similar fibers to that. So now we know we have our wovens and our knits, and we know they can be plant, animal, or synthetic fibers. Let's talk a little bit about the different kinds of cloth you can create from these fibers and these different types of weaving and knitting. So you can have a cloth that is 100% one fiber, but it's more common to find a combination of different fibers. So a good way to kind of explore this is to look at the clothes in your closet and check out the fiber content on the tag. You'll sometimes see something that says 100% cotton. Sometimes you might see 90% cotton, 10% spandex. That would probably be like a stretchy t-shirt type of blend. So oftentimes there are blends of different fibers put together. So let's talk about some of the most common types of fabrics. So I've broken these different fabrics down by the primary fiber they're associated with. So let's start out with wool here. Some of the most common wool fabrics are, first of all, coating. You can think of coating as what a coat would be made out of. A wool coat is really thick and would be very warm. This could be 100% wool. It could be a blend of some other fibers. You'll also find suiting. Suiting is a bit thinner, and you can think of this as what a nice tailored suit would be made out of. It's got that wool feel to it, but it is a lot thinner than coating is. You'll also find sweater knits that are made out of wool. The sweater that I'm wearing right now is made out of merino wool, so that is another type of fabric you might find in the wool category. And then you can also find wool flannel. I haven't really seen this, but I've read a little bit about it, so you might find flannel made out of wool as well. Flannel is a fabric that has a brushed surface so that it feels really soft. What I've seen most often is cotton flannel. So let's jump over into cotton and some of the most common cotton fabrics. So moving on to cotton, some of the most common cotton fabrics are things like quilting cotton, which is a 100% cotton that's very tightly woven. You'll also find twill. Twill is very similar to denim. Denim is another cotton fabric, but it's done with indigo dye as a general rule. You'll also find cotton canvas, which is a really thick fabric that you can think about like a tote bag being made out of. A few more are cotton shirting, which is a lightweight cotton material that you would make a button front type of shirt out of. And then some really lightweight lightweight cotton fabrics are things like cotton lawn and cotton batiste. These are really soft and floaty types of cottons. You can also have cotton knit. This can either be 100% cotton or something like cotton and spandex blended together. There can be a lot of different combinations here, but you can definitely have cotton knit like you would make a t-shirt out of. So within the silk category, there are so many different types of fabrics. So I'm just going to highlight some that are the most common. There's silk charmeuse, which is really lightweight, but has a satiny type of finish on the right side of the fabric. So very slippery. You also have silk satin, which is a little bit heavier than silk charmeuse. So it would be more like a crisp type of texture. Silk du peony is really common. This is a very nubby type of texture because they leave the imperfections from the silkworm cocoons in the yarn. I think that's how that works. So this fabric you'll often see in things like drapery, but it can also be used in fashion fabrics. Silk crepe de chine has a more matte finish on the surface, so it's not that satiny look, but it's still very lightweight. And silk chiffon is a completely sheer, floaty, delicate fabric. Next up, there's linen. You can find 100% linen, which usually has a pretty standard look. It's this nice textured, beautiful fabric, but linen wrinkles like nobody's business. So oftentimes you'll find it blended with a few other fibers. Some of my favorite blends for linen are linen and cotton blended together into a canvas fabric. That's a really nice blend. And also linen and rayon blended together creates a more fluid type of fabric, but it doesn't wrinkle nearly as badly as 100% linen. You can also have linen knits, which have a really distinct, beautiful look, and they're very cool and lightweight to wear. Within the rayon category, the ones that I am most familiar with here are rayon challis, which is a really soft, drapey, beautiful fabric, and then also rayon knits. You'll often find like bamboo knit. Bamboo is technically a rayon because it's made in the same process, just out of bamboo instead of out of trees, so a bit more sustainable there. And you'll often find these blended into knit fabrics, maybe with some spandex or some cotton, different things like that. So that's one to look out for as well. So next up is polyester, and with polyester, they really make just about any type of fabric that you can imagine because it's a really versatile fiber. But polyester is basically plastic, so you will find that it's not super comfortable to wear because it doesn't breathe in the same way that natural fibers do. So you might have experienced wearing something that felt just really stuffy, like a polyester shirt, and you felt really sweaty and uncomfortable with it. Another problem with polyester is that when you iron it, you can accidentally melt it, so you have to be really careful with your iron when you are working with polyester. So with polyester, it is really affordable, so I would just say know what type of project you're working on. If you want to make something that looks really high quality, high end, you might want to steer clear of polyester, but you will see polyester a lot in fashion garments, so just know what you're making and decide if that's what you want to use or not. But with polyester, you can find things like satin, chiffon, velvet, all kinds of fabrics. It's really great for costuming and stuff like that, but it is not the most sustainable fabric, so just be aware of that.
Armani don't also make polyester.
And the last two on my list are spandex and nylon. Spandex is often added to other fibers to give more stretch, so you'll see that in knits a lot. And then nylon is often used in sportswear, so it's mixed with spandex to make things like fabric for yoga pants and sportswear type of garments. So you'll see that a lot. Nylon tricot is another type of nylon that's pretty common. If you've ever looked at slips in a store, those are often made out of nylon tricot. So those are a lot of different types of common fabrics that you will see when you go into fabric stores or when you get onto fabric websites. So knowing the fiber breakdown can be really helpful as you're shopping for different types of fabrics. Now, when you're shopping for fabric, you really want to keep in mind what type of project you are working on and what you want the final outcome to be. If you're making a really flowy, beautiful, drapey dress, you won't want to go for cotton canvas. You might want to go for something like rayon challis or a soft drapey polyester or silk or something like that. So just keep in mind that the different types of fabrics will really affect the way your garment comes out. Now, if you're working with a sewing pattern, they will usually have a section on the sewing pattern that recommends different types of fabrics, and that can be really helpful also. So let's talk a little bit about shopping online for fabric. I live in the great state of Arkansas, and while it's lovely here, it's not exactly the fashion capital of the United States. So I am pretty limited when it comes to fabric choices. We basically have Joann fabrics, and that's about it. So I choose to buy most of my fabric online online through different online retailers. So my first tip when it comes to shopping for fabric online would be to order fabric samples. This is kind of inconvenient and annoying because you do usually have to pay a fee, but I think it's definitely worth it in the end because you don't end up ordering fabric that you can't return that you don't like. So I usually will order fabric samples at the beginning of the season from my favorite retailers, which I'll tell you about here in just a second. And I'll just order anything that I'm interested in a sample. Maybe I'll spend $15 or $20 on samples and just take a look at what I get. And that helps me to make better choices about the fabric that I am getting because I can actually get an idea of the colors and the feel of the fabric. So what I'll do is just take a look on the website and find what fabrics I'm interested in, and then I will order samples so that I can choose what I want to order an actual amount of yardage in. When you buy fabric, it's usually sold by the yard or by the meter, depending on where you live. So you will see the price listed, and that's usually per yard or per meter. I'd also recommend with online fabric shopping that you find a retailer that is located in the same country as you, because it's going to be so much more affordable to have that shipped to you. Shipping is really annoying and inconvenient, but it's part of the process when you're shopping for fabric online. So if you can find one that's in the same country as you, you will avoid having to pay import fees or really expensive shipping, and that's just really helpful. You may even find that certain retailers have a free shipping threshold. I found that, so that can be really helpful. If you just place one big order, you won't have to pay for shipping, which is really nice. And then my third tip when it comes to online shopping for fabric is to watch out for discounts and make sure you're aware of what types of discounts are offered by the different retailers. My two favorite online fabric retailers are Mood Fabrics and Fabric.com. Mood Fabrics has a really wide variety of classic fabrics, so if I'm looking for a silk fabric, I'll be able to find the same fabric in probably about 80 colors on the Mood website. So anything that I want to find in a solid color, I will be able to find on Mood Fabrics, which I love about them. You can also earn free samples on Mood Fabric with your orders, so I really like that. And anytime I've ordered samples from Mood, I've ended up getting a coupon in the mail for 10% off, which helps make up the cost of buying the samples. So that's really nice as well. And then Fabric.com is a great resource. They have so much variety. They're a bit cheaper than Mood Fabrics, so I like that. And I think of them as where I find more random fabrics that I wasn't necessarily expecting to find. They also offer a business coupon. So if you have an Etsy shop or a small business, you can get a discount on Fabric.com by signing up for that, which is really nice. And they also have a free shipping threshold as well. So when I shop for fabric online, I usually sort by fiber. So if I am wanting to make a dress out of rayon, I will go to, say, Fabric.com, and I will click on rayon challis and see what prints they have in rayon challis or what solid fabrics they have in rayon challis. That just helps me sort through the vast quantity of fabric that's available. So knowing what fibers you like is really helpful when it comes to online fabric shopping. So if you're brand new to fabric shopping, you might want to just order some different samples of fabrics that you like the look of so you can get an idea of what feels and textures you like in fabric, and that will help you going forward to shop for fabric more effectively. So that's just a quick overview of what is in my mind as I'm shopping for fabric online and in person. I hope that was helpful, but I just got a new order of fabric in from Fabric.com. These are 3 different rayon chalices, so I thought I would just show you really quickly. I had samples of some of these in my last video, but I thought I'd just show you guys what I got. So I got a few yards of this lovely polka dotted rayon chalice. This is black and ivory, and they have this in a few different colors as well. I'll link to all the fabrics that I'm showing down below, but this is so soft and nice. I'm going to be making a button front skirt out of this, and I'm really excited about that project. It feels so good. I love soft fabric, so I'm excited about that one. This is a beautiful kind of vintage floral rayon. I'm so happy to have found this because this reminds me of those 90s market style dresses, but I never find fabric that looks like this, so I'm very excited to make a dress out of this. It's got the most beautiful colors, and I love the texture. And then the third fabric in this order is this lovely daisy printed rayon. This one feels a little bit thicker than the others and less soft, which is actually really good because I'm planning to make a pair of pants out of this, so I'm really looking forward to that project. I think this is going to be the next sewing project on my list, so I'm excited to get started on this one. I think this fabric is so cute. Alright guys, so that is going to be it for this video today. I really hope that was helpful for some of you who are curious about shopping for fabric. Let me know what questions you might have down in the comments below, and I'll definitely do my best to answer those. And if you have any tips you want to share with fellow viewers, please do leave those in the comments down below so that everybody can learn from each other. I would really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for watching and spending your time on my channel today. If you are new here and would like to subscribe, I'd love to have you along for future videos. I talk a lot about sewing on this channel, channel. So if that's what you're interested in, there's definitely more content coming your way. Thank you guys so much for watching today and spending your time on my channel. If you'd like to keep up with me outside of YouTube, Instagram is the place to do that, and I will put that up here. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.
Searching for something